Are you having a hard time grasping new ideas? Is your child struggling to remember their classroom lessons? Well, it may be time for a personal trainer for your brain. It doesn't matter your age, your so-called smarts, everyone can benefit from the LearningRx method. Happy to have Executive Director David O'Reilly here to explain. All right, so, we've talked many times kind of how LearningRx is like that personal trainer for your brain. What does that mean exactly?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. So what that means is, I guess the image that most people would be familiar with is going to the gym, and you might have a personal trainer there. You've heard about that. Or even having your own consultation, somebody working with you, your own personal person that's, sits there and works with you. So after somebody gets into a program, I mean, they are assigned their own trainer. And that trainer sets out the program that you're gonna, prepares those sessions each time that you're gonna work on. And they're responsible for leading you through that, pushing you, pulling back if it gets too frustrating, but they're the ones to kind of keep you accountable. So there's so many benefits to having a one-on-one personal trainer, session, because I mean, you just get that accountability. They build that rapport with you. They know when to push, when to pull back, and things like that. So
they get to know you, at a deeper level, which in this case is highly important.
Absolutely.
They need to know how you're functioning, right?
Yeah, and that's what this is all about: is how you're functioning, how your brain is processing information, and it's their goal to push you and build that skill. And that's what they're doing. They're building your skill and leading you through that.
And this is not essentially teaching you new things. It's teaching you new ways of learning things, right? It's almost that process that comes before sitting down in a classroom.
Absolutely. We have a learning model, and I don't have the picture here, but if you picture like a file cabinet, we have it there, that's your knowledge bank. That's your brain where you store knowledge. And that's the question that we want to step back. It's not what you're not getting, but why. And that's that step before, when we pull information in, just as you're sitting here listening to me, I mean, you're doing so many things. Your brain's, your ears pulling information in, you hear sounds, so there's things called auditory processing. So are you picking that stuff up and processing it correctly? So, somebody with reading struggles or attention may be not processing that information as efficiently as possible. So that causes shutdowns and not picking up enough information, not retaining everything. So it's that step before that really targets that underlying reason why you're not getting it. And that's the thing that we want to kind of have people, I encourage you to start asking why they're not getting it, and not what they're getting, but why. And that's what we target, and that's what we build. It's a research-based program that's been around for a long time. We get results. So we increase the IQ. It's that skill piece. And that's where like that personal trainer piece comes in. As you go to the gym and you're working on increasing your weight training on this piece or being able to lift more. That's what we're doing, is we're trying to increase your brain's capacity to retain information, short-term, long-term, process it faster, things like that.
And we mentioned kids, obviously, because you think of them being in the classroom, but this is not something that just benefits them. This is, kids up to adults, up to seniors who may even have, like you said, some of that kind of retaining issue going on as you age.
Yeah, absolutely. Some things that, at any age of your life, some of the big words today are like confidence and anxiety. And I've seen a lot, everything from younger kids and feeling that stress or pressure in school, but also too, as you get older, and you may not be picking things up in the work world, in the workplace, or as adults or seniors, that just feeling like you just don't have that ability that that you used to. So we can increase, and we have some great students of all different ages, and it could be for various reasons. It could just be natural, just aging, because we do start to lose short-term memory as we do get older. So, and just forgetting things as far as names or where your keys are or different things like that. But also too, it could be a result of accidents. We had a family in this past week, adult, had a severe, traumatic brain injury. So there can be various reasons, and it doesn't even have to be, actually, like some adults too come in that maybe they're diagnosed now with ADHD or dyslexia, and they've had it their whole life. We can work with them still, just as a younger person, but it doesn't have to be anything like that either. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis. But really the first step is to come in and do an assessment. And that's one thing that we're offering for this. And that's the first step. I encourage everybody to take that step, and because, to come in and do a check and see where your memory is, where your processing speed is, where your logic and reasoning, just problem solving, things like that. And like I mentioned, auditory processing and reading, being able to pick up information. So
I do want to mention, because you have half off the cost right now if somebody calls for an assessment. ColumbusBrainTraining.com is the website, so go there to get started. And then you have this new program that's starting in February called Mommy and Me Smart Start.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. What we're doing, I mean, we're going to work with anybody. My passion is really just to help everybody where they're at. And I encourage you to come in and talk, find out what's going on, even just do a practice session. But one thing I'm looking at targeting is working with moms, or not necessarily moms, could be dads, could be anybody, because I work with my daughter too with this program. It's our early education or early skill building, and we can work with kind of preschool early education, because that's where a lot of the brain development is.
Right, you got to give them the best start in life is what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
And of course, keeping that going as well. It is ColumbusBrainTraining.com. So much good stuff. So I want to thank you for being here with us.
I thank you too.